care for his children during a family vacation, but then shorted her pay. Alan Washington says Miss Patel got 2 extra days off, so the money he paid her was more than fair.
Okay, Ms. Patel, you are suing Mr. Washington for $400 that you say he owes you for child care services. Tell me what happened.
So I am a babysitter for Alan's family, and they decided to take a week-long trip to South Carolina. So we had agreed on a schedule that I would work for taking care of their kids, and I was promised $1,000, but at the end of the trip, he only gave me $600.
Okay, what was the schedule that you had agreed upon to work?
So there'd be 2 travel days, Friday and Friday, where I'd get paid $100, and then there'd be 6 working days, where 2 are days that I would work, and then 1 day would be an off day. So
were the days that you would have off specified?
Yes,
beforehand?
I have a text message right here that specifies that Monday and Thursday were my days off.
All right, then what happens when you get there?
So we get there, and on Saturday, his wife, Samantha, gets sick. And I offer to take care of the kids. I even offer to take care of Samantha. But he says, no, it's okay. You can go and have some free time. So I was like, thank you, that's nice.
Did he tell you that that would substitute for Monday or for Thursday?
He said I had a day off, but it was not specified that that would take over from my Monday off day.
Okay. Did you ask?
No, because I just was prepared for work and I was ready to be on my job that day. So he told me to have some free time.
Hold on one second, please.
He told me to have some free time, and so I heeded my employer's wishes.
Yeah, you heeded your employer's wishes. It's like the obvious thing that the two of you should discuss at that moment is whether or not that's going to count for another day. And neither one of you bring it up?
I thought I sent her a text, which she responded to, which I assumed she understood what it was meant when I said she had a day off. Like Samantha was sick in bed. We couldn't do anything. I'm going to stay in the room anyway.
Why would you assume that? Why would you guys not discuss it? Because if she had 2 specific days off, what if she was making plans to actually, do stuff?
I was the one that paid for the trip, flew her there, put her in the room.
Well, no, of course you did. She was a babysitter for you.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if she has 2 specific days off, she may have something planned on those 2 specific days off. Do you dispute whether or not at the beginning it was you'll have Monday and Thursday off, or you don't dispute that?
No, we had that agreement.
All right, so show me the text between you guys when Samantha's sick.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Yeah. I mean, she must have got a bug on the airplane.
Hey,
Saturday
Taryn,
morning.
I just want to thank you again for being so flexible today. What did you think that meant?
So I was ready to work. He said no, so I thought that's what that meant.
That's your flexibility?
Yeah.
Not having to work?
Yes, Your Honor.
This doesn't take flexibility on your part to
work.
Stop. It doesn't take flexibility on your part to not work. I mean, that's another red flag as to why you don't say, wait, I've got something planned Monday and Thursday. So the next day he sends you a text. Why are you texting her as opposed to talking to her? Isn't she right there?
Well, she's in the next room with my kids. So, I mean, everyone texts these days, so it was just, having that conversation like that.
Okay. The only time I text my children when they're in the same room, or my husband, is if they're ignoring me by looking at their phones. It's like, I just do it to make a point. Anyway, so, because, there's a detriment to that. And that's communication, which really was necessary in this one. So you then say, he tells you she's sick again, looking like this is going to be a second off day.
Yes.
Now, second off day, that also doesn't alert you that maybe you should ask, hey, I got something planned on Monday and Thursday.
Yes, but because that was the schedule we had originally agreed upon, I didn't realize that we were straying from it. And so when it came around...
you're obviously straying from it, but the question is it counting against you or for you or what? Like, I just don't understand why it's not discussed by either of you.
Yeah.
I happen to be talking to you right now, but I'm going to give it to him too in a second. I just don't understand.
I believe there was a miscommunication in that sense.
A big miscommunication. So Monday comes, and that's the first day you're actually going to work, and what happens?
Yeah, so I had a scuba tour planned, and I had booked that weeks in advance. It cost a lot of money. I wanted to get that slot. And so I wake up in the morning to go on that tour, and he says he's going on a golf trip with his friends. So I said, oh, are you taking your kids with you? It's my day off. And he says, no, you're supposed to be taking care of them today.
Okay, so if that's not like, notice that maybe we need to have a conversation, I don't know what is.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
On top of that, taking care of Samantha, which was not in my job description.
You didn't take care of Samantha, though.
But I offered to, which is what I thought he meant by saying I was being
Okay,
flexible.
you're gonna have trouble keeping jobs. I got news for you.
And later,
Well, that's when I noticed my electric bike. The whole frame is bent. The wheel is damaged.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to break for the people with Judge Millian, we're back with the case of Taryn Patel, who brought Alan Washington to court over unpaid babysitting fees.
So, do you discuss Thursday? Or now, we'll just see what happens Thursday?
We did not discuss Thursday at
Yeah,
the
and
time.
then Thursday, what happens?
Thursday, she, in my opinion, she bounced on us again. She went and made her own plans.
Even though she had, Monday wasn't enough evidence for you that maybe there's a communication problem, that she was planning stuff on her prior, on her
We've known
selected
her
days
for
off?
years. She was responsible. She's smart. I thought she was flexible. So no, it didn't seem to be a problem to me.
What were your plans on Thursday? I understand Monday. What was Thursday?
On Thursday, I was heading to a beach festival, and I had worked Tuesday and Wednesday like we had planned. So I assumed that, based on the schedule we had agreed to,
Why wouldn't
that-
you? If you knew that you had Saturday and Sunday off, and that was and in your mind that was a total bonus, why wouldn't you at least offer to give up that? Because you didn't have money invested in the festival. That was just you wanted to go.
Right, but I was technically on call for the whole trip because, like
Yeah,
you said,
I understand that. I think what you've heard me say in this courtroom should let you know I've understand that. I'm talking about something different right now. I'm asking you why, if now you know that they were aghast that you were taking Monday off, and all you had planned for Thursday was a party, why couldn't you just say, hey, I got Saturday and Sunday off. I wasn't supposed to. If you want me to work Thursday, I'll just work Thursday. Why couldn't you just do that? Because then I imagine they've never hired you again because they're pretty angry. So why wouldn't you just do that?
because as an employee, like, I have my boundaries. In the olden days, I know we would just, at the drop of a hat, kind of go on with whatever our employer
Who's
wanted
we?
us to do.
Depends on who you are. No,
Just
this
people
is-
my age, people who are in the workforce that are my age, people will just go at the drop of a hat, whatever the employer wants will do, but it's just not that way anymore. There's a lot more boundaries and
That's
a
not
lot more
boundaries.
principles.
Hey,
That's like
listen,
work
stop. It's not a matter of boundaries. It's a matter of communication. It's not like he's not asking you to prance around in model bathing suits. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, if you feel that there is a boundary not respecting your private, your day off, then I'm asking you why, as a human being, you didn't just say when Monday came and he seemed surprised, hey, let's just, look, I'll just work on Thursday. That has nothing to do with your age or your assertion or your self-respect or anything else. This is just like the kind of thing that people who work for somebody might want to talk about, because it's obviously that you're not communicating. So what happened Thursday?
Thursday, we were meeting some more couples down there, and that was our only day to meet them. We planned it, and she bounced on me again to go.
Well, why wouldn't, same thing I asked her, why wouldn't you, now that Monday happened, discuss Thursday instead of not discussing Thursday?
I think I was really irritated. I expected her to do the job that I paid her to do. I thought she
So you left it to chance instead of securing it on the Monday when you realized where her head was.
I hired her to do a job. I expected her to do the job.
Well,
and
just a
have-
second.
and
You
have
hired her to work
flexibility.
Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Yeah.
she was ready, willing, and able to work those days. So when you say, I hired her to do the job and she didn't do the job, I don't think that you're in the right either. So now, you ended up getting paid what?
$600. when I
Which
was
represents
promised
the 2
$1,000.
travel days are 200,
Yes.
and then what?
And then each work day was 200 on its own, so it would have been 800 for all the work days that I was meant to work.
So you paid her for 2 work days,
I paid her
Tuesday
for
and
the days
Wednesday.
that she worked, the days that she showed up.
Okay. And you feel that he should pay you the entire 400,
Yes.
correct? For the reasons we've discussed ad nauseum. What the heck did you think he meant when he said flexible?
That I was on call for the whole trip.
He's thanking you. That means you did something that seemed flexible. What did you think you had done that seemed flexible?
That I was ready to work in the morning, and also
You're supposed to be ready to work. That doesn't mean it's not flexible.
on top of that, taking care of Samantha, which was not in my job description.
You didn't take care of Samantha, though.
But I offered to, which is what I thought he meant by saying I was being
Okay,
flexible.
you're going to have trouble keeping jobs. I got news for you, okay? I agree with her, especially when she has, like, the scuba dive trip plan. All this could have been avoided with some simple communication. And it's a shame that it wasn't, because I imagine that the kids have bonded with her and now they don't see her anymore because you're not going to hire her. I wouldn't hire her, okay? And I understand your frustration, but I also think you brought some of it on yourself, you know? And you know, I'm not going to sit here and split the baby, even though I think that she probably should have worked on Thursday. This is a legal call that I have to make, and the call is, you know, was there an agreement to substitute days or wasn't there? The fact that I think she should have made an agreement to substitute days for the Thursday when she knew what you were expecting is irrelevant to my legal ruling. It's either you were darn clear that you were substituting days before you gave her Saturday and Sunday off, or you weren't. And I find that the onus is on you as the employer to be very clear on that. And I do not find that you were. So congratulations to you. You'll get that $400 and you're never again going to be hired by this family or anybody they know.
All rise.
Judge Millian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $400.
Any last remarks for each other?
Well, I just think it's clear that you need a babysitter too, but it's not going to be me.
You'll never babysit in this town again.
Okay. Exit this way, please. Make sure you grab all of your belongings.
Coming up.
As soon as I started backing out, I could tell I hit something, and I got out, and his bike had been obviously in my driveway, or I wouldn't have hit it.
Closed captioning provided by Tommy Wallace. Claims his electric bike was run over by a neighbor after he left it in his driveway. Marissa Gardner says she didn't see the bike when she backed her truck out, but it was discarded on her property.
Okay, Mr. Wallace, you are suing your neighbor, Ms. Gardner, for $218.47 because she ran over your bicycle, correct? Okay. How old are you?
I'm 18, Your Honor.
Okay. And you live next door to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so tell me what happens that brings you to court today.
Basically, it all started when I went out for a nightly ride, maybe around 6:30, to clear my head. I had just gotten into a huge argument with my parents about college, and they weren't very happy with me not wanting to go to college. So I went away. I took a little ride on my bike to clear my head, and it wasn't too long after my mom called me back because she wanted to finish the argument, pretty much. So I ride all the way back. I place my bike in my driveway and finish the argument with my mom.
Okay. Did you, what do you mean placed it in your driveway? How did you leave your bike?
I got there and my head was not in the right place, but I placed it in the middle of my driveway.
Meaning you laid it down on the ground?
Yeah, I
okay,
laid
so
it down.
You didn't hit the kickstand, stand it up, put it by the side of the house.
No,
it was
nothing
just,
like that, Your Honor.
You had other things you needed to tend to, so you left it in your driveway. All right.
Coming up.
I have her telling me that she backed straight out. I have you thinking she deliberately ran over your bike. I have you upset about a fight with your parents and, carelessly putting it down and then being exhausted and not wanting to go back and pick it up.
We're back with the case of Tommy Wallace, who blames Marissa Gardner for running over his electric bike.
So what happens the next day?
Well, the next day I wake up for my morning bike ride around, 6 a.m. And, well, that's when I notice my electric bike. The whole frame is bent. The wheel is damaged. And I went straight to Miss Gardner's doors. I knocked on her door, waited for her, no answer. So I went naturally to the bike repair shop to do it myself.
All right. At some point, did you talk to her and tell her, hey, by the way, the repair shop said it can't be repaired?
Yes, Your Honor.
So is this the price for a new one?
This was the price for the new one.
That you had paid for that one. All right, let me hear from you, Ms. Gardner.
I was leaving for work. It was early morning. I was running late. It was 5:30 a.m. I got in my truck, backed out. I have an older truck, so I don't have any sensors or...
Right, that would make a noise.
So
and detect
as soon as I started backing out, I could tell I hit something, and I got out, and his bike had been obviously in my driveway, or I wouldn't have hit it backing out. I didn't, as he said, swerve or whatever.
How is
he
it you
said.
back out?
How did I back out?
Yeah. Are you turning the wheel? Are you not turning the wheel?
No, I put my car in reverse. My father taught me to use my mirrors. I back straight out like I always do. I've never had an issue.
Which way do you go? Once your hind end is in the street, do you go left or right?
I back out and I go left to then go straight.
Okay. So when you realize you hit his bike, what do you do?
Well, it was 5:30 in the morning, so I wasn't going to go over and wake him up to say, hey, I hit your bike. And I was running late for work. I had to get...
So what did you do with the bike physically?
I put it back in his driveway, fully in his driveway, so that my husband wouldn't hit it, or I wouldn't hit it coming back in.
Judge Million's verdict when justice for the people returns. Promotional consideration.
I have her telling me that she backed straight out. I have you thinking she deliberately ran over your bike. I have you upset about a fight with your parents and, you know, carelessly putting it down and then being exhausted and not wanting to go back and pick it up. I don't think that she deliberately looked for your bicycle and ran over it. I think that probably what happened is that, you know, it was mostly in your driveway, but the tire was probably a little too far over. And when she's backing out, that's how she ended up running over it.
Your Honor,
you think she did it on purpose, but what evidence do you have that she did it on purpose?
Even if it wasn't on purpose, I mean, she should at least practice some sort of caution.
No, you can't put a bike where it doesn't belong and then not expect it to be run over. If part of your bike is carelessly put away with the, you know, the wheel still under a neighbor's yard and their driveway, then it's on you that she ran it over. I'm sorry, but based on this evidence, I cannot rule in your favor. My verdict is for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Million has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
Well, I'm just glad that I'm not having to pay for his carelessness.
Well, I'm glad that I'm moving in 6 months.
Me too.
Exit this way, please.
James Plott claims he needed surgery for a ruptured eardrum after he attended an extremely loud punk rock show. Elliot LeClaire says his band manager passed out earplugs, so he's not responsible for Mr. Plott's injury.
All right, Mr. Plott, you are suing Mr. LeClaire for $955 in medical bills because, according to you, his music tore your eardrums.
Correct.
All right, tell me where you were and what happened.
It was like a venue. It was called The Basement. My friends were performing. They're like an indie group called The Walkers, and they invited me out. I don't really go to concerts. I'm not huge like a music guy, and especially not rock. But they invited me out, and he was performing before my friends were performing, so I was there. And the moment he started performing, it was like maybe like 10, 15 seconds. It was all right. But then it just started blasting music. Everything went crashing down.
What do you mean everything went crashing down?
Well, they were going crazy with their guitars and their music. Like, the people started jumping. So it was just a lot for me. And I hear a pop in my right ear. And I was like, what is going on? I started hearing a ringing. It was stinging. I felt pain. And so I went back doors because I was like, I need to figure out what's going on with my ear.
Okay, and what was going on with your ear?
Basically, I felt like it was kind of like wet. It was like a liquid, and I looked at my finger, and it was blood. So actually, my ear popped open. It busted open my eardrum. I started leaking a little bit of blood. It wasn't too much, but it was enough to be like worried about it.
Could you hear?
I could still hear, but it was very like, this ear was very affected a lot. It was like a big, huge ringing sound, if you've ever had that before. It was horrible.
All right, and how loud was the music?
The music was so loud. I mean, it was like, I have actually footage. I have a screenshot from my smartwatch where it shows...
Can I see it?
Yeah, if you might present.
Which shows what?
It shows that the music was at 145 decibels, which equals up to the sound of fireworks or even standing next to a fighter jet departing.
My Apple Watch, when I get together with my friends, often sends me a message that it's dangerous to stay in this noisy environment because we all talk really loud. So what do? Do you go to the hospital or do you go to the doctor?
Yeah, I went to urgent care the next day because obviously I couldn't go the same day. It was late and I still stayed with my friends. I just bared with the pain. I went to urgent care. My doctor told me that I have a tear in my eardrum and that's what caused the bleeding and the pain. He told me to wait a couple of days or up to a week to see it should heal by itself. It did not heal by itself. I was dizzy every day. I could not sleep. I was in pain. I was tired. I went back after a week and he told me I needed surgery.
And so explain the surgery.
Basically, the surgery was that they had to go deep inside there and put certain medication into my ear and some things that I don't know about a lot. I was just on anesthesia, but that cost me a lot of money.
It was outpatient, right?
It was, yeah. And I thankfully have insurance, but insurance didn't cover most of it.
So all you're suing for is that you're out of pocket?
Correct, my out-of-pocket money.
All right, and so do you ever communicate with him or try to...
Yes, I did text him. I reached out to the venue to get his number, anyone from the band, specifically him. And they gave me his number, and he basically just shut me off and told me to back off, I guess. You know?
Okay, let me hear from you, Mr. LeClaire. What kind of music do you guys play?
We're a punk rock band, Your Honor. Unfortunately, this guy decided to make me waste my time coming here. I'd rather be somewhere else than in the courtroom.
Most people feel that way.
Yeah. So go figure. He's in a rock concert. And second, we're called the Raging Wailers.
You're called the Raging Wailers?
The Raging Wailers. So you don't need to be brain dead to understand that Raging Wailers sounds like they're going to be loud. And we're not a mom rock band. We play rock.
As a mom, I resent that implication. But here's the thing. The music starts, and then tell me what happens at one point. Like after a few seconds of the music, then what happens?
Well, the show went on like normally. We always play.
Is there he describes it as you guys banging on your instruments like on purpose for shock value. Is that accurate?
We're meant to be loud and we're a rock band, you know, want to move some air.
Right, but not all rock bands shatter eardrums.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
Now, your response to his suggestion that there should have been some kind of warning is what?
Well, I'm not just going to grab the microphone and be like, sorry to disturb you. We're going to be kind of loud tonight.
And later.
So I'm being blamed for the hole, but I really believe that cockroach came out of that hole. That hole
but
was
what evidence
already
do you
there.
have to say that?
If you'll be this for the people with Judge Millian. We're back with the case of James Plott, who blames musician Elliot LeClaire for a busted eardrum.
According to both of you, there was someone handing out earplugs. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. Well, since this venue didn't have a soundman that day for the event, we had to come in earlier that day to do the sound check. And after the sound check, all the other bands agreed that it was all fine. Nobody complained. So, and when it was time to play, well, my girlfriend, which happened to be my band manager, went out in the audience passing out earplugs because we're that nice.
Okay, so why does your girlfriend pass out earplugs?
Because we're nice.
No, but everybody came for a rock concert, and not a mom rock concert, a real one, so they want to hear you. So why are you passing out earplugs?
Because we just figured that it would be nice. we offered the opportunity
because
to wear
you know
ear
that you're going to be playing it at really dangerous...
Dangerous? I mean, I don't have any device to record the sound level, but ordinarily, we
Do you guys on stage wear earplugs?
I personally never wear earplugs.
Okay.
But this guy, I think, happened just to be an accident. Who knows? It could have happened to him before the concert or something.
But it didn't. His testimony is it happened at the concert, and he immediately leaves and goes to a doctor the next day. So the question is, do you have, is that, hey, too bad for you because it's a rock concert, like you're saying? Or the question is, does California law require you to have some kind of warning? Now, your response to his suggestion that there should have been some kind of warning is what?
Yeah, but we're a punk rock band. I'm not just going to grab the microphone and be like, sorry, everyone, but sorry to disturb you. We're going to be kind of loud tonight.
Right.
No,
you feel like that ruins the vibe.
I don't want to break that character. That's not who we are on stage.
Okay.
We project this personality.
Right. Los Angeles County Code requires that if you're operating or playing or permitting the operation or playing of any noise, radio, television, musical instrument, etc., sound amplifier, at a level higher than 95, okay, you can't do that unless there is a conspicuous and legible sign located outside that says, warning, sound levels may cause hearing impairment. It's like the cigarettes, you have to have a warning. All of a sudden, the law decides you have to have a warning. So Los Angeles has decided you have to have a warning. You think it's lame to warn verbally. Well, they don't even want you to warn verbally. Do you think it's lame to have warning, sound levels may cause hearing impairment? Because I think that some punk rockers might find that actually really appealing. I mean, or is that just my mom taste? Like, in other words, it sounds like the law makes you have a disclaimer before you start playing.
I mean, I feel bad for his injury, but I don't want to be held responsible for his medical bill because, I mean, like, I don't have like an instrument on my amplifier that tells me how many decibels that come out of my amplifier.
No, but apparently the law requires you to know. And when you hit the 95 mark, the law requires you to have warned. So it's kind of, I think I do think you know how loud it is. I think that's part of the shtick. Right?
Yeah, but
that's part of your of the shtick because you've got a band manager walking around handing people, earplugs. So it's obvious that it's part of your shtick to play it at dangerously high volumes, or you wouldn't be handing out earplugs. Stop a second. Stop and listen to me. The question is, do you have any legal responsibility for it? And I hear exactly what you're saying. You're at a rock concert. If it doesn't work for you, walk outside or take the earplugs. I hear what you're saying. However, you happen to be in Los Angeles where there happens to be a law about it. Yeah, and what the law says is that you can't do what you do without a warning. You don't like the idea of warning, everybody, don't do it that way. I think it would be pretty... The word I want to use, I can't use on television. But if you're trying to have this aura of totally, crazy punk rock, hardcore, maybe you should have a little sign with a warning that comes in front. Maybe that's how you can protect yourself.
I don't think so. I think the venue should be held responsible because if they didn't have their soundman ready to work, I mean, like, they should have postponed the
Except
concert.
for you knew there was no sound man.
Yeah, because like we're on point, like we're a serious band, and we want to perform. And
yes, but you knew there was no sound engineer there who was going to turn you down if you were too high.
Like, I'm not the one.
No. It's not a matter of whether it's your fault. I'm saying that was not a surprise. You knew that you were performing at a place with no sound engineer. Well, one would, if you're looking at me and saying, that's the job of the sound engineer. Well, if you agree to perform in a place with no sound engineer, then you know that that's your job now and not the sound engineers. I'm finding you responsible, and I'm going to order you to pay the $955.
All rise.
Judge Millian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $955.
I have a great victory, and karma always finds its way.
Oh, I mean, I don't care, like, losing or winning. Like, for me, I have a new tour coming up. It's going to be called Busted Eardrum Tour.
Okay.
Coming up.
I grabbed the shoe and I killed it. Smashed it right into the wall.
With what part of the shoe?
With the heel of the shoe.
Okay.
Closed captioning provided by Judge Millian. Taylor Knox claims she was falsely accused of damaging a wall at a bed and breakfast after she hit a bug with her shoe. Kathy Walker says she kept the plaintiff's deposit because the room was fine before Miss Knox stayed there.
Taylor Knox, you are suing Kathy Walker for $500 because Ms. Walker has refused to return your security deposit when you stayed at her bed and breakfast? Talk to me.
Your Honor, I was in town for a book publishing convention. I went online, found her bed and breakfast, had great reviews, so I booked it. There was a $500 deposit required. So what happened was, the first day, after I opened the window, I saw a couple of bugs. Second day, saw a trail of ants in the bathroom. Thought nothing of it. These are just...
Did you mention it to her?
I didn't.
Okay. So none of this was really bothering you? This
didn't really bother me.
Yeah, okay.
Until Monday morning, I was preparing to leave and saw a cockroach on the wall. That was the thing that pushed me over the edge, that bothered me, and I grabbed the shoe and I killed it. Smashed it right into the wall.
With what part of the shoe?
With the heel of the shoe.
Okay. When you hit the wall, you hit it with the heel. Did you make the hole that ended up in the wall?
So I'm being blamed for the hole, but I really believe that cockroach came out of that hole. That hole was already there.
What evidence do you have to say that? Like, you never noticed a big hole in the wall before?
I didn't notice. Yeah.
And how big was the hole, by the way? Let me ask you, how big was the hole? Was the hole there before she checked in?
Your Honor, I had no reports of there being any holes in the wall.
Okay, do you actually, how many rooms do you have in your bed and breakfast?
Coming up.
They had to use a 4x8 section of drywall to replace.
Did you ever see them do the job?
No, I didn't.
Right. I got news for you. You need to get another contractor.
Closed captioning provided on. We're back with a dispute between Taylor Knox and B&B owner Kathy Walker over who is to blame for a hole in the wall.
We have 3.
And do you ever go in there? Are you the one who...
Yes.
Okay, so had you ever noticed a hole there before?
I never noticed a hole until after she left.
Okay, and now let's assume the hole is this big, like she says. Don't you think you would have noticed that? Especially with bugs coming in, like you say?
Yeah, it was behind the lampshade. I didn't even notice the hole.
So you really have no idea if the hole was there. You're certainly not testifying that the hole was there.
Correct.
You just think there was a hole in the spot where you hit with your heel, because you know the hole was there after you hit it with your heel.
Right.
You know the hole was there once you hit the wall and panicked and hit the wall with the heel and not the front of the... I will take a slipper and I will bash the roach.
Right.
And I will not apologize to anyone who thinks I should have saved the roach and brought it outside. No, you saved the roach. And if you're not on speed dial on my phone, you can't be there in 2 seconds. I'm doing what I got to do. So my question to you is, how much did you pay to get that fixed? Because my understanding from your answer to the complaint is that you paid $500.
Your Honor, you know, I'm not in the construction business, so I have people that are professional that come out to repair stuff. And they had to use a 4x8 section of drywall to replace.
Did you ever see them do the job?
No, I didn't.
Right. I got news for you. You need to get another contractor. That is spackled to close. It's this big. It does not require replacing a piece of drywall, because my obligation here is not to make her pay you what someone charged you. It's to make her pay you the reasonable costs of a repair for the damage she did. That hole was created based on the part of her shoe that she decided to whack the wall with. And no, I don't think that that's on you. I think that's on the whacker. They should try not to break a wall over a cockroach.
Judge Million's verdict when justice for the people returns. Promotional consideration provided by...
Literally, it would have taken me 1 second to do it, because you take the little jar of spackling, you cover it, and according to her, it's behind a lamp. It's not like you couldn't rent the room out. I think they took advantage of you because you were desperate and you really wanted to, and I think that they kind of took advantage of you. And my job is to figure out what the repair should have cost, not what it cost you. But my very strong advice to you, this is a handyman, not you don't need a license for this kind of work, but maybe you are hiring a contractor, and then that person's pocketing $400 and paying somebody $100 to spackle. Because that's probably what happened. I am ruling in your favor as far as a security deposit is concerned, that you are able to keep some of it, but not the amount that you say. I'm going to assume this could be handled for about $150 is what I'm going to rule, and that means that I'm going to need you to return $350 of her security deposit back. Verdict, net judgment for you, verdict for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Millian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $350.
Any last remarks for each other?
You try to get me to refurbish your bed and breakfast?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Shoddy business, lady.
Okay. Exit this way, please. Make sure you grab all of your belongings.
Nora Melite claims her neighbor is to blame for her ruined dress after she was sprayed by a skunk on the way to a wedding. Dorothy Elburn says she tried to relocate the wild animals, but her humane trapper retired.
Okay, Ms. Millette, you are suing Ms. Elburn for $437 because, according to you, she is responsible for some skunk spraying you before an event. Why don't you tell me what happened?
Your Honor, my name is Nora Melite. I met Miss Dorothy on the day that I moved into my neighborhood. It was a good conversation the first time we met. However, over the course of my stay at that neighborhood, she was just showed little interest in the concerns that I brought up to her.
Okay, so what kind of concerns were you bringing up to her?
Well, for one, because of her negligence, she would have a bunch of stray animals, including raccoons, skunks, stray cats, any sort of animals could just wander.
And that's because what? Because she wasn't mowing the lawn?
She wouldn't mow the lawn. She would just have garbage on the floor, and she would leave food out on the floor. I guess to feed her cats. However, she was aware that it wasn't just her cats. It was skunks, raccoons, and a whole bunch of wild animals that would come over to her yard to feed.
So you tell her that, and what does she say? I'll take care of it, or she doesn't?
No, she just was like, okay, whatever. She just brushed it off. She didn't do anything about it. She just ignored me. I had to call an exterminator myself to get rid of the animals because she kept on telling me that, oh, she was going to do it, she's going to do it, but she never actually did anything.
So you called an exterminator. Did you tell her, hey, they're coming on such and such a day?
Yes, I told her what day the exterminator would be there. The exterminator, however, did not have a set time, but he did tell me that he was going to be there on that day. I did tell her what day she should be home. And
all day?
Well, she's usually home all day anyways.
Okay. So apparently the exterminator came, she wasn't home, so they wouldn't do the procedure.
So they weren't able to get it done.
But you have been willing to pay for that?
Yes, I was happy to pay for it.
Okay. All right, so she doesn't take care of it. You're unable to take care of it because she's not home, and then what happens?
Okay, so about 2 weeks after I had called the exterminator and she wasn't home, I had a wedding to go to for my cousin's wedding, and I got my makeup done, I got my hair done, and I got myself ready, and I was ready to go to my cousin's wedding. On my way out, I encountered a skunk.
What, can you talk to me and look at me when you're talking to me? Because I find that it doesn't do any good for litigants to stare each other down. It just elevates the anger in the courtroom, but it doesn't help me get to the right decision. So you are getting ready for your cousin's wedding, and what happens?
On my way out, I encountered a skunk.
How? Tell me how that happens. Tell me all about that.
Well, I was on my way to my car, and the skunk was right next to my car. And then I tried to shoo the skunk away, and it sprayed me.
Ooh, wait. How did you try to shoo the skunk away?
I just was like, oh my gosh, there's a skunk here? And I just tried to shoo it away, like get out, and then it sprayed me.
Get out, get out. Like, so you're yelling at it, and then it sprayed you. All right, then what did you do?
And then I had to go back in, and I had to clean up, wash up. I had to take off my makeup. Obviously, I wasn't going to make the wedding because I was not.
Why not?
Well,
I mean, I know you got to take a shower and everything else, but you missed the entire wedding?
No, I spent the whole night in a tomato juice bath trying to get the stink out of my hair.
It's that bad? You can't just take a shower?
I wasn't even able. No, it wasn't. I wasn't even able to just tolerate the smell of my own home because I just was covered with skunk stink, and I just literally the whole night I was in my bathtub, just in the tomato bath. just trying to get this thing away.
Wait, how'd you have all that tomato bath? Like what, tomato juice?
Yeah, tomato juice. I usually have...
You filled the whole bathtub with tomato juice? You had that much tomato juice?
Well, I do tend to stock up on tomato juice because I
Just coincidentally?
No, I am Nigerian and we tend to have a lot of tomato stew.
Okay, all right. I learned something new today.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
I can't wear it. It's just now just
Well, it can't be dry cleaned? I've never been sprayed by a skunk, so I honestly have no idea whether you're exaggerating or not exaggerating. Go on.
To be honest,
I'm over here. Okay.
And later.
And that is when I found the defendant standing with my niece. My niece had a cut on her hand, and the entire front window of my car was smashed in.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888 for the People with Judge Millian. We're back with the case of Nora Melite, who blames Dorothy Elburn for a stinky skunk encounter.
What's going on, Ms. Elburn? Why is there a family of skunk living on your property? What's going on?
Your Honor, it's true. There were a family of skunks living on my property. And in the past, I had a gentleman that would take care of the skunks for me. He would relocate the skunks safely so that none of them would get harmed. That's very important to me. But unfortunately, this year he had retired.
Okay.
And he didn't know of anyone that could safely relocate the skunks. So I had been trying, because I had already seen the skunks, so I had been trying to have them relocated, but I could not find anyone who could safely relocate the skunks.
So when you say safely relocate the skunks, so that's what you wanted. You didn't want the skunks to be hurt.
I didn't want them to die.
Right, and I understand that, and I applaud that, and that's lovely, except for that there's an actual ordinance that says that you cannot harbor pest animals that carry disease like that. So you can't really put the skunk's well-being, their family's well-being, over human families.
Right.
And so you're supposed to get rid of them. So you're telling me you called the guy who got rid of them the way you wanted.
Yes.
And he's not in business, and there's nothing else you did then during all those weeks. What else did you do?
Oh, no, I was trying hard. I called several.
So are the skunks still there? What happened?
Well, they are gone now.
How did they end up leaving?
I did find a service that did relocate the skunks. But
where'd you find the service?
I found the service, but it was 2 days after the incident.
After the incident.
Oh, you were able to do it within 48 hours after the incident, but she had warned you 2 weeks earlier, and you knew that there was a risk there. Maybe not a risk of this with the shoo. Oh, who knew that if I yelled at a skunk, the skunk would squirt me?
The skunks were on the property for a total of 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a long time, but it took me that much time to find.
Not really. It took you 2 days to find.
Thank you. No, I really did.
Kind of, right? Because within 2 days after the event, you were able to find somebody. So I don't think you spent 2 solid weeks calling people, do you?
No, I did.
No, you did not spend 2 solid weeks all day long and all night long calling people. There's only X number of people in the phone book. If there's 20 people in the phone book, how long does it take to make 20 phone calls? The problem is each time that you'd call, people would tell you, well, no, we're just going to get rid of the skunks. And you didn't like that. So how did you end up finding somebody who would get rid of the skunks in a humane manner?
The total time was 2 weeks. And
well, no, I know it took you 2 weeks. The question is are you allowed to harbor them for 2 weeks while you're trying to find somebody who will do it in the way that you like?
Well, I don't know what the law
The ordinance says you can't harbor them. So in other words, the minute you know that they're living in your yard, you're supposed to get rid of them because they carry such disease. You're not allowed to keep them until you find a nice, cottage for them in the woods where they can, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, even though, that's very sweet and everything, but in the meantime, everybody else is at risk. What's the $437 for exactly? Like, how do you come to that figure?
The $437 would cover my outfit that I got for the wedding.
Yeah, but you still have the outfit.
No, but it smells. I can't take it back to get a refund, and I can't wear it. It's just now just
well, it can't be dry cleaned. I've never been sprayed by a skunk, so I honestly have no idea whether you're exaggerating or not exaggerating. Go on.
To be honest,
I'm over here. Okay, try that again.
Okay, so I did talk to my dry cleaner, and he did say he could try to get this thing out, but there was no certainty that it would come out.
Well, why didn't you try, though?
Because I don't think I should have to pay for that. I should have never been sprayed.
No, she should have to pay for it, but you didn't take it there, so I don't know if your damages are that or something else. Do you understand? Do you feel like you had any fault in this by screaming at the skunk, or you feel like the skunk wouldn't have been there to scare you if she hadn't harbored them?
Well, yeah, I'm sure, like, if you startle or scare an animal, it would defend itself. I'm sure that would happen, but that should never have, this skunk shouldn't have been there in the first place. We talked about this.
Do you want me to just leave so you can just talk to her?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel like the main issue here is, I'm so sorry. The main issue is the fact that she refused to...
You can stop. I think you're right. You know, there's an actual ordinance in place that says you can't do what you did. You can't leave them there for 2 weeks and have them put everybody else at risk because you have a certain way you want to have it done. I don't know if the dress is ruined or not. I think $437 for her troubles of missing her cousin's wedding is pretty reasonable. Verdict for the plaintiff, $437.
All rise.
Judge Hien has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $437.
Justice has been served.
I'm sorry she missed her cousin's wedding.
Ma'am, this way. Exit this way, please. Make sure you grab all of your belongings.
Coming up.
So what did you see? A little girl inside?
Yes, she was in the back seat and she was crying, you know, very panicked, and she was banging on the window trying to get out.
For the people with Judge Hien. Allie Miller claims her car window was smashed by a meddlesome neighbor because her niece was briefly left alone in the vehicle. Rebecca Smith says the little girl was panicking, so she needed to be rescued right away.
Ms. Miller, you're suing your neighbor, Ms. Smith, for $402 because she smashed your car window. Tell me what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. So I was babysitting my 7-year-old niece at the time. I babysit her often for my sisters. She's a single mother, and she trusts me to care for my niece. On this particular day, I had just picked her up from my sister's house and brought her home when she realized that she had left her tablet in the car. The car is parked right outside the front of the house. It's about a 50-foot walk from the car to the front door just across the yard.
Is this a residential area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I told her that she could run down to the car and grab her tablet. I was just going to use the bathroom very quickly. I didn't think that it was going to be any sort of an issue. I used the bathroom quickly. I washed my hands and I came out, and my niece wasn't back from the car yet. So I went outside to check on her, and that is when I found the defendant standing with my niece. My niece had a cut on her hand, and she was visibly upset, and the entire front window of my car was smashed into little pieces.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
What had happened?
Well,
what did the defendant tell you?
Yes, ma'am. So apparently, the defendant found my niece had locked herself in the car. There's a central locking system. And so when she went in to retrieve her tablet, she accidentally locked herself in. And the defendant claims that she was walking by and saw my niece.
Let me hear what you saw.
Yes, so I was just taking a stroll around the neighborhood, and it was a very hot day. And
How
when
hot?
I believe it was 75 degrees outside.
Okay.
And when I had passed Miss Miller's
I'm from
house...
Florida, that's nothing, but go ahead. Ooh, it was it was a scorching 75. That's like what I set my AC at. Go ahead.
Well, inside the car, you know, those temperatures can increase a lot.
Coming up.
This decision was come to in how many seconds? Because according to her, she went to the bathroom, washed her hands, and came right outside.
This for the people with Judge Hien. We're back with a dispute between Allie Miller and her neighbor, Rebecca Smith, over a smashed car window.
So that was my concern when I saw...
What is it you saw?
I saw a little girl inside Miss Miller's car, and she was
Did you know
banging
that was
on the
Miss
window.
Miller's car?
Yes, I had seen her like come in and out briefly before.
All right, so
I
you knew that was her car?
Yes.
All right, so what did you see? A little girl inside?
Yes, she was in the back seat, and she was crying, you know, very panicked, and she was banging on the window trying to get out. And when I first approached her, you know, I tried just calming her down. I tried, you know, asking her name, like telling her it's going to be okay, but she just couldn't really hear me. She was just very panicked. And so then I assessed the situation. You know, I started looking around, trying to see if there was anyone, any guardian, any parent around. I yelled for help, and there was no one.
Well, you knew it was her car. Why didn't you just go knock on her door? You could keep an eye on the kid and knock on her door at the same time, right?
I just didn't think that there was enough time. You know, I wasn't even sure if she was home in that case. So I saw that there was
Well, you're never going to find out if you don't knock on the door, but go ahead.
I saw that there was a big rock on the side of the road, and it just clicked in my head. So I grabbed the rock and I began to smash the window so that I could have an opening to then take her out of the car in a matter of time.
Okay. I know you meant well. I do know that.
Yes.
This decision was come to with in how many seconds? Because according to her, she went to the bathroom, washed her hands, and came right outside.
I'd say I was there for a total of like 3 minutes the whole time.
How about calling the police and just staying there and trying to calm her down and calling the police and letting the police come?
You know, I didn't think that there was enough time for that to happen. And in these situations...
Because what did you think was going to happen in 90 seconds or 3 minutes or whatever? What did you think? What could possibly go that wrong in 3 minutes, did you think?
Judge Million's verdict when justice for the people returns. Justice for the People with Judge Million.
You're standing there, you're looking at her, you know it's your neighbor's car. Go knock on your neighbor's door, call the police, and then stand there and make sure she's still okay. And the police will ask you what she's doing. The police will tell you what to say to her. You keep trying to calm her down. But taking a rock is actually dangerous because, oh, I don't know, you could end up cutting her, which is exactly what you did, right?
Yes, Your Honor, but
How did she get cut?
I did it in the front window because she was sitting in the back, and just when I carried her out, she accidentally placed her hand on the car window, which, of course, you know, that happens. But I think that that's worse than what could have eventually happened, you know. It is
worse than what could have happened. Exactly. You know, I think you meant to say, I think what could have happened would have been worse than that.
Yes.
But it didn't happen because we're talking about a few minutes. You really panicked, and you got to pay for the window. That's the law. Even though you meant well, I know you meant well, I know you weren't thinking of yourself at all. I get that. But it was a little rash. $402, verdict for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Million has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $402. Lewis Manning claims he is owed additional fees after a client downplayed the amount of work required to assemble and move a queen bed. Elisa Cantoy says Mr. Manning wasn't prepared, so she's not to blame.
Okay, Mr. Manning, you are suing Ms. Cantoy for $350 that you say she owes you for services you did at her home. Tell me what services those are.
Well, Your Honor, the services included bringing a adjustable bed into her home and putting that together, and then putting the mattress on top. And there was actually more included parts that were not given to me or shown to me in the initial.
Well, initially, how did she hire you? How did you learn about the job?
She had a friend who recommended me, and she sent me a text, and she told me about the job through text, and I agreed.
And what were the texts? Do you have the text with you?
I do, yeah.
Let me see what she texted. And did she send you pictures at all to show you what the job entailed?
Yeah, she sent me one picture.
Okay. It is both moving the queen-size frame mattress into my apartment, then assembling it, and it may be a two-person job. $175 an hour with a 1-hour minimum. Did you bring 2 people?
I ended up calling a friend, my friend Doug, who helps me out from time to time. He lives in the area. I did not understand that I would need help necessarily because of the picture. As you can see there, it looks like a twin-sized bed frame.
She had said that it was a queen, right?
Yeah. So I guess I kind of...
Does look like a twin in the thing, but she had said it was queen-size frame and mattress. So I'm not understanding. You brought someone with you?
I ended up calling someone.
You ended up calling. So you showed up alone, and then what did you see?
I saw the box there, and it just turned out to be way too heavy.
So then that's when you called your friend?
Yes. I also did not know there was a staircase, so...
She never mentioned the staircase? Did you ever mention the staircase?
I did not, but I did say it was on top, that I have to move it up my apartment.
Wait, where did you say that? It says into your apartment. Where did you indicate that there was a staircase? Because that makes a difference. I'm surprised you didn't ask. Why didn't you ask? Like, that's the first thing you should ask in your business, right?
Yeah,
but why didn't you tell him that there was a staircase and that he had to bring it all the way up the stairs?
That's why I was making sure he needed an extra person, an extra hand.
What was your plan? Because, I mean, were you going to be like a Harlem Globetrotter spinning a queen-size bed on your finger? Like, you know, this sounded like a two-person job, just like the lady said it was going to be. But in any event, you bring the guy, and the guy helps, and you have to pay the guy, right?
I do, yeah.
And what did you pay him?
$100.
How long does it take you to assemble?
I'd say an hour and a half.
So you don't mention that there's a staircase. He comes alone. Do you say something to him when you see him that he's alone?
Yes, I told him we will need another hand, and that's when he called his friend.
So the friend gets there, and then what? They take it?
They both take the boxes upstairs, and that was it.
All right, so then he assembles it, and you ended up paying him for 2 hours. Why?
Yes, because that's what
it took
we
him almost
agreed.
2 hours to assemble it. So let's assume he had shown up with his friend. It takes time to get it up the stairs.
Yes, but at the same time, it was only the second floor. It was only 8 stairs.
Well, yes, I didn't expect it to be 10 stories and you not mention it. But
Yeah, of
what
course,
I'm
of
asking
course.
you is...
I didn't, he said, because I took his word, he was professional, he said he would do it in 2 hours. So 2 hours for me worked.
You're the one who mentioned it would take about 2 hours. He didn't mention it would take 2 hours. I'm looking at the text, and he says, I charge $175 an hour with a 1 hour minimum. And you say, okay, great, it should be about 2 hours. Does that sound good? I guess he says yes.
Because I could only do 2 hours.
Meaning afford 2 hours?
No, I had 2 other appointments to make that afternoon.
What kind of appointments?
I had a nail salon and a hair style.
Did you miss them?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, why, when she says it should be about 2 hours, have you ever put together a mechanical bed?
Yes.
Yeah, so that, you say, yep, that sounds good, see you tomorrow. Did you expect for it to only take 2 hours?
Not necessarily.
Okay, how are there 4 hours if the guy took 15 minutes to get there? It couldn't have taken you guys 2 hours and 15 minutes to bring the bed up the stairs, so how is it that it's 4 hours?
The reason it was 4 hours is...
Because you say it took you an hour and a half upstairs, right?
Yeah, an hour and a half for the initial build of the bed frame. And then she informs me she has this headboard and footboard and rails that she did not mention in the text message. She wanted to put those up. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that entirely.
Yeah.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
You know how to tell time. What did you think was going to happen? You're going to get 4 hours out of him for the price of 2?
Yeah, but at the same time, I was doing his job too.
And later.
How many drinks did Alexis have?
Alexis actually only had 2 drinks. They're lemon drops. I mean,
She had
it's
3
basically,
drinks.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I thought I was speaking.
Yeah, but you
I was
don't just
respectful.
join in, please.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want Hien, we're back with the case of Lewis Manning, who brought Alicia Cantori to court over moving fees.
How long did it take you to get the bed and all the materials upstairs?
The bed and all the materials upstairs, 45 minutes probably
and
since
so
getting there.
The rest of that 4 hours was assembling everything?
It was assembling the platform, assembling these new pieces I didn't know about, and also moving the bed.
Did you tell her at any point in time, you know, when it was hitting the 2 hour mark, lady, this is a lot more work than you mentioned?
I didn't consider that text message a binding contract. I figured that she being there in the house would kind of check the clock and kind of realize what she's paying. And, you know, it takes longer to do that.
Did he dawdle at all? Like, was he sitting around taking, smoking a cigarette and drinking coffee? Or was he working that whole time?
He was working. I did offer water because I always do that.
Right, but I'm just saying, in other words, when he tells me he worked for 4 hours, he actually worked for 4 hours, right?
Well, yes, of course. We had to move the bed twice around. And so
Why
we had
twice
to take,
around?
Because when we assembled it, it didn't fit quite in the space where my old queen mattress was.
Why won't you pay the guy for the work he did? In other words, you had the money for 2 hours.
Yes.
You feel like he said, okay, but he did. He said, okay, 10 a.m. sounds good. And he told you he charged $175 an hour.
Yes.
And then you're there 4 hours. You see when the 2 hours are up, you know how to tell time. What did you think was going to happen? You're going to get 4 hours out of him for the price of 2?
Yeah, but at the same time, I was doing his job too.
How are you doing his job?
Because for the bed frame, you gotta do it all together, because if not, it's gonna be unbalanced. You have to screw at the same time different corners. I didn't know everything about this. That's why.
So in other words, he was telling you, hold on there, hold on to that part while I screw this in?
Yes.
Is that what you mean by doing his job?
No, I'm telling I help him doing his job.
Right.
So why should I pay him more when I did part of the job?
Okay. She is suggesting that had you brought a second person, that a second person was not just necessary for bringing it up the stairs, but also for building it within a reasonable amount of time. And she did say it may be a two-person job. Was it a two-person job in retrospect, now that you realize everything?
In retrospect, after it was bigger than the picture and moving it twice, yeah, I needed her hand for a couple steps.
Okay, well, did you need I'm so confused. You really thought you were going there just to build this, just to do the center part and not to put the headboard together and everything. So do you say to her, you know, this isn't the picture you showed me. You didn't show me a headboard. Do you say that to her?
I could have, but
did you?
No, I don't think it's my responsibility. I mean, I'm not
asking if it's your responsibility. I'm just asking if you did.
Okay, I did not.
Okay, and when you send a picture to him, this is all you send him. Did you mention you wanted him to build your headboard and all the other stuff?
No.
Because then he might have brought the second person and kept the second person who could stick around if you had mentioned that.
Yes,
but you don't mention that.
No, I did not, because I thought I never built a
No. You know this isn't all you wanted him to do. You know that there's an enormous headboard and sideboards and there's a whole thing to build. That's all. There's stuff under that needs to be built. You knew that you needed that. Why'd you send him only a picture of this? And you don't say it's a two-person job. You say it may be a two-person job. What do you charge? You know, like it's, you know, if you tell him the exact parameters of the job, maybe he would have brought a second person and kept the second person. But if you choose to try to negotiate that it be 2 hours by text before a person gets there, even though you know that he has an hourly rate, and then he's there for another 2 hours, how do you figure you're not going to pay him?
Again, I never thought it was going to be so complicated. That's why my friend recommended.
But at the 2 hour mark, you realized 2 more hours passed, right? Did you ever say anything to him at that point?
Yes, that's why I started helping him, because I needed to go.
No, did you say, I only have money to pay you for 2 hours?
No, I did not say that.
No, you let him continue working for 4 hours when you know he's charging $175 per hour, right?
Yes, when we agreed 2 hours.
You keep saying that, and you have to understand that this is what it says. It may be a two-person job. It's moving a queen-size frame mattress into my apartment, then assembling it. You send a picture of just the frame. You don't mention that there's a headboard and sideboards and everything else that has to get built. He says it's $175 an hour with a 1 hour minimum, and you proclaim, okay, great, it should be about 2 hours. Does that sound good? He says, yeah, see you tomorrow at 10. Why does that mean that if it's not 2 hours, he doesn't get paid? How do you figure when what you sent him wasn't an accurate picture of what it was that the work was? I'm ordering you to pay the man the remaining $350.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $350.
Any last remarks for each other?
I'm sorry I had to come to this, but I think justice will serve today.
Well, I hope you're happy with the results.
Coming up.
We might have beer. That's all Alexis has ever had.
How do you know?
Everyone in our family has this. Well, if we drink it, it makes us sick.
Closed caption. This is Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Marianne Williams claims her friend is to blame after her underage daughter ended up in the ER with alcohol poisoning. Stephanie Green says the plaintiff's daughter went out drinking after she dropped her off.
All right, Miss Williams, you're suing Ms. Green for $2,500 because according to you, your daughter was alcohol poisoned and it's her fault. Tell me what happened.
This is really upsetting for me because Stephanie and I were friends. Our daughters were in college together from freshman year. That's when we met. I have a very busy schedule, so I have an extended family around me. I live in Chicago. She lives in Ohio, where the college is. It was a parents' weekend, and I couldn't attend the parents' weekend because I'm a school teacher. So I asked Stephanie if Alexis, that's my daughter, could meet with her and just hang out with them for parents' weekend. So basically, they went out on one of the Saturday night, and Stephanie decided that it was okay for her to serve my daughter 3 lemon drops because they were all drinking lemon drops. Now, before I
Your daughter's how old?
My daughter is 20. However, she doesn't drink hard liquor. We don't even have alcohol in our house. We don't serve it because there are several people in our family that have problems with like hard liquor. So occasionally we will have wine out to dinner. We might have beer. That's all Alexis has ever had.
How do you know?
Everyone in our family has this, where if we drink it, it makes us sick.
According to you, she's never had hard alcohol.
Well, this was the first time.
Okay, so
and she was rushed to the hospital. She had to have her stomach pumped.
All right, but hold on. At dinner, how many drinks did Alexis have?
Alexis actually only had 2 drinks. They're lemon drops.
She had 3 drinks.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I thought I was speaking.
Yeah, but she did not.
I was respectful.
Don't just join in, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead.
And so she's always not present, right? I have.
Okay, no. We don't need to go into who's a better mother. Just talk to me about what happened.
I definitely don't want to go
20-year-old sitting at your table, underage, having a drink at a restaurant. A parent or a legal guardian, which you are not a parent, you're not a legal guardian. So technically speaking, ordering her a drink was illegal.
Coming up.
Is your daughter okay, I asked. After she had her stomach pumped, she's now having more problems with her stomach.
For the people with Judge Millian. We're back with the case of Marianne Williams, who blames Stephanie Green for her daughter's alcohol poisoning.
After dinner, what happens?
Well, she ate the full meal, and then I took them in an Uber back to their dorm.
They go out?
Apparently so. Yeah, her daughter wanted to pledge the sorority, so they went to the sorority party, and that's where she got drunk.
What time did you get a call that your daughter was in the hospital?
4 o'clock in the morning.
Actually, you got the call first from your daughter.
Right. I dropped them off back at the dorm at 9 p.m.
And your daughter tells you, we've been drinking, we did this, we did that? What did your daughter tell you?
Absolutely. I mean, my daughter's in school. You know, she's in college. So my daughter and I have an open communication. But however, she was trying to pledge. Alexis was trying to pledge. And so she took too much.
Your Honor,
at that point, that's when I said, oh my God, I'm coming to the hospital. Take her to the hospital.
How can you think that something that happened at 8 p.m. gave her alcohol poisoning at 4 in the morning?
After they left the restaurant, she doesn't remember anything after that.
Was she falling down when she left the restaurant?
The only thing she was doing was eating good because I was paying for a good meal for her to have.
Okay. It's not like she drank on an MC's stomach.
No.
And then she walks out of your car, no problem, when you dropped them off at the dorm.
Absolutely. I had to sign them back into the dorm, actually.
Your Honor. just a second.
Okay.
And you don't get the call about the hospital till 4 in the morning.
Right.
I think maybe your daughter does things you don't know about because she's afraid to be honest with you.
You know what? She has seen what alcohol has done.
Then why did she have the lemon drops? Why didn't she say
Because
no?
I just feel like she was pressured.
Pressured?
Yes.
No one wants to buy them 3 lemon drops they don't have to pay for. If you want a beer, you order a beer. If you want a wine, you order, because your daughter drinks, right? It's not like your daughter doesn't drink, right?
Stephanie is that
my question is, your daughter drinks, she just doesn't drink hard liquor in your mind.
Yes.
Judge Millian's verdict when justice for the people returns. Promotional consideration provided with Judge Millian.
Is your daughter okay, I asked.
After she had her stomach pumped, she's now having more problems with her stomach.
I don't think 5 lemon drops would cause you to have lifelong problems. You get your stomach pumped and you learn a lesson.
You haven't had alcohol before. A light lemon drop.
No, stop talking and listen to me. You are acting like your daughter is a 4-year-old child who was force-fed a lemon drop. I am not going to order her to pay you for your daughter's alcohol poisoning because you have provided zero proof that her actions caused your daughter 5 hours later to go to a hospital. Verdict for the defendant. Thank you.
All rise.
Thank you.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is
Chào mừng các bạn đã quay lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau đến với lại bài tập số 3 trang 75 sách giáo khoa toán tập 2 quyển kết nối tri thức. Ở đây chúng ta sẽ có một bức tranh, các bạn cùng nhau nhìn bài tập ngày hôm nay nhé. Bức tranh của chúng ta vẽ gì nhỉ? Công viên. Ở công viên sẽ có rất là nhiều hoạt động vui chơi đấy. Chúng ta hãy xem có những hoạt động vui chơi nào nhé. Đầu tiên là chúng ta bước vào cổng công viên, chúng ta thấy có gì nhỉ? Lễ hội hóa trang đúng không nào? Nhạc nước, ảo thuật, xiếc cá heo, phim hoạt hình 5D và gì nữa nhỉ? Xích công và còn rất nhiều những khu vui chơi khác nữa. Trên bức tranh này có thể hiện những cái đồng hồ, vẽ những cái đồng hồ. Trên những đồng hồ thì vẽ giờ đúng không nhỉ? Vậy là mỗi chương trình trong công viên sẽ có một mức giờ khác nhau. Bây giờ các bạn sẽ cùng xem là mỗi một trò chơi sẽ bắt đầu vào lúc mấy giờ nhé. Đầu tiên là gì nhỉ? Lễ hội hóa trang sẽ bắt đầu vào lúc 10 giờ sáng. Phần nhạc nước sẽ bắt đầu vào lúc 11 giờ. Ảo thuật sẽ bắt đầu vào lúc 3 giờ chiều. Phim hoạt hình 5D sẽ diễn ra vào lúc 4 giờ chiều. Và cuối cùng là xiếc cả heo diễn ra vào 5 giờ chiều đấy các bạn ạ. Câu hỏi của bài đưa ra là nếu My đến công viên vào lúc 2 giờ chiều thì My có thể xem được những tiết mục nào? 2 giờ chiều đúng không nào? Chúng ta sẽ cùng kiểm tra lại nhé. Nếu My đến lúc 2 giờ chiều thì My có thể xem được các tiết mục như sau. Ảo thuật này, chiều lúc 3 giờ. Xiếc cái heo chiều lúc 5 giờ. Và rạp chiếu phim lúc 4 giờ đúng không nào? Còn gì nữa nhỉ? Sân khấu nhạc nước đã chiếu vào lúc buổi trưa rồi, lúc 11 giờ trưa. Còn buổi sáng thì có lễ hội hóa trang. Vậy là hai chương trình này bạn Mai sẽ không được xem đâu. Thật là đáng tiếc đúng không nào? Rồi chúng ta đã cùng nhau đi học xong toàn bộ bài tập ngày hôm nay, trang số 75 rồi các bạn ạ. Ngày mai chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau đến với một bài mới là bài tập trang số 76, học các ngày trong tuần nhé. Thời lượng của kênh hôm nay đến đây thì cũng hết rồi. Ngày mai các bạn đã chuẩn bị cho mình đầy đủ đồ dùng học tập để chúng ta có thể